enjoying taking the time to read Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. This book is about the Black Death and kind of playing on the idea of Hamnet, who was Shakespeare's real-life son, and how he died. And I think there's going to be like a whole thing about Agnes and her healing powers. And this is something that I'm reading for my fellowship, where I'm doing a literary tour of the United Kingdom this summer in August. And so far, it's like, okay, I'm only 2 chapters in. I feel like it's taking me a bit of a time to kind of adjust to the writing style. Not that it's poor, it's just that I actually told myself maybe I should affect like a bit of an accent in my head. And to be honest, that actually worked, because I was feeling like the sentences were like a little bit run on in my mind. But then once I put on like an appropriate accent in my head, then it sounds lovely. So I think that's kind of a funny concept. I was thinking today would be a really great time to show you my bookshelves, and I have 4, I think, strewn out across the house, and just kind of have a little bookshelf tour. It'll be fun for me to see what I've chosen to keep. I don't know about you, but I really think that bookshelf tours are very interesting, because I do think that a bookshelf is a good reflection of the person and what they read, but I also don't think that, because I'm not sure that my bookshelves fully reflect my reading habits. Because, you know, what if you read things on your Kindle, or what if you read things from a library and you really loved it and you returned it? You know, you lend things out to people or just gift it to them, and some of the things that I've maintained, I think you're going to notice are probably more from a lot of like classics and things from my youth, but not really necessarily a reflection of the things that shape me the most. That'll be a whole other video. So this will be fun. Let's go ahead and take a look at my bookshelves. Okay, one of the main features of my living room, I live in a pretty small house. It's about 700 square feet, and I actually used to have this be one room that I taught dance lessons in, but when I decided, you know, I wasn't going to be teaching tap anymore in this space, I took these bookshelves from my mother's house, and they were brown, and they were so perfect, because I really wanted to divide my space so that I had a living room and an office area. And then I went to the store, and I knew I wanted like 2 tones, and so I got this blue paint and the green paint, which were very similar to, like, it matches my like yellowish walls really well. And I got them on the sale rack, like somebody had mixed them and didn't want them to do. My cat is climbing on my body. This cat, have you noticed? She's obsessive and clingy, and I love her, but sometimes it's a little bit annoying, I do have to admit. Okay, Claudia, say goodbye to the people. Hi. Okay, put her on the floor. So up at the top, I've just got a few plants. Those 2 on the end are real, and I am so proud of myself, because I have had those for like 3 years and haven't managed to kill them, and I am not a plant girly. I love the look, but I am not a good mother of them. And then the middle one is fake. So we like to mix it up and keep people guessing. I will give you like a little breakdown of which each shelf is, and then I'll give you a little pan so that you can like look at the titles a little more. So up here at the top, I sort of have, honestly, these top ones are chosen solely for the fact that they fit in this small space. But here I have my Haim Potok collection. In 7th grade, I was assigned The Chosen, and it was really a wonderful, I'm really grateful to my teacher for assigning us that, with like really strong philosophical questioning, and really changed my reading habits, because I love this kind of thing. So I've got his whole collection here. Another good one that I'm interested in, It Can't Happen Here. Very topical, very timely for the US. If you haven't read this, I highly suggest it. It was written in 1935. It's very prescient and topical, and actually I can only imagine that it was very similar, you know, before then. Super good read. And then right here I have basically these are sort of books that I've been reading recently and just keep piling here, but the one I'd like to pull out is Women Talking. If you haven't seen the film, you should definitely see the film, but if you haven't read the book, definitely read the book first. Very powerful. I really like the way that was structured. I remember I got this book when I was probably in junior high, and it's a passion for books, and it's just got beautiful illustrations in it, and then it talks about lots of little essays and stuff about people who love books are in here. Then I have some poetry by Emily Dickinson, and Random House Treasures Most Loved Poems. Then I have an Elsie Dinsmore series collection, and I know that's like theologically questionable in a lot of ways. I am very intrigued by things that young people were fed to read in order to instruct them in the past. And then, the lovely Betsy Tacy Tibbs series. Just absolutely love them, and I have all of them, I believe. And then just some hardbacks. On the second shelf is sort of my more display books that I really enjoy. I just recently read If I Were Villains. So good. That's there. This cute little thing a friend of mine got me from her trip to Mexico. And this was my grandma, Dixie's cute little wooden bunny. Here is a really cute collection. I don't really know where I got it. Sometime in high school, of all different classics. I have really tiny books here, more poems by Emily Dickinson. And then recently I've been I really want to build my adorable looking bookshelf. And so I purchased this series. Here's another Wizard of Oz. Yes, so this is me slowly trying to work up really beautiful covers of books that I like. The Boxcar Children. Did you ever read that? I read this a lot with my ELL students, and it's such a wonderful entry point and such a charming story, this original one. This guy's name right here is Vaudeville, and when I owned a dance studio, he used to be our little mascot, and people would take him to different trips with them, and so there used to be a whole Facebook page full of photos of him, and I just love Vaudeville. He has such good memories for me. I've got the Golden Compass series, more Haim Potok that were not short. I should have really put those together. And then The Woman in White, The Bell Jar, Sylvia Plath, right? Essential Feminist Reader, Essential. Donna Tartt, these are some of my more favorite books. The Portable Dorothy Parker, The Chronicles of Narnia, my little read books. I've got some new stuff right here, The Poppy Wars, I really enjoyed that. And then The Power, I'm Malala, a children's Bible. If you haven't read that, that was so interesting. Super quick read. Turn of the Screw, Little Men, Anne Frank. Here's a little zine that I made. My cat Frida has this really terrible habit of biting all the time, and so I made a little zine all about how she bites people. That's one of the projects my 8th grade does, is making zines. So this year I think I'm gonna make one about Claudia being clingy. I've got the Hunger Games series. I wish that I had a hard copy of the first one. I'm on the lookout for that because I have hard copies. I don't know where that one went. And then I've got my graphic novel section. And then further down it's starting to get a little bit more eclectic, just sort of some random more books of poetry. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series, my favorite. And the new author that took over when the original one died, so good. Arguably better. And some bigger collections. And then the second half of the bookshelf is a lot of children's literature that I really still love. Up here on the top I have the Dealing with Dragons series. Did anybody read those? Obsessed. And then I have the Ballet Shoes, Dancing Shoes, and then the Mysterious Benedict Society. And then I have a wonderful picture of my dear dad and I. He passed away a few years ago. And then a really beautiful quilt that my mom made that's out of his shirts. Then on the second shelf, what kind of American Girl would I be if I didn't have all of the American Girl series? I have my original ones from when it was Pleasant Company, and then I've got some new ones. Whenever I see them at a yard sale, I have to pick them up. I have to. And then I got gifted these collections, so it's all of the Samantha books, and then they only had Kit. I actually am not super attached to Kit because she was more modern, but they happen to have those too, so I was gifted those. And then if you haven't read The Scandalous Sisters, his sister of the Prickwick Place, you have to, because it's so freaking hilarious. I love anything by Julie Berry. If my bookshelf were an actual collection of what I read, I'd have all the Julie Berrys, but I have a lot of those on audiobook instead. And then the What Katie Did series, The Girl of Limberlost. Here's an interesting novel. Remember how I said that the Elsie books I have because I'm very interested in what girls were asked to read when they were younger? This is one that is also interesting. Classical Teachings on Virtues and Values. Very, very intriguing, especially from a feminist viewpoint. Very intriguing. So I'd like to read those kind of things. Then down here, I have Ninth House. Loving that. I'm excited to read the sequel. I got this John Marcel Dillon Tomorrow Means War Began as part of something I was assigning for school, and I liked it so much I bought the whole series, but I haven't read it. I've only read, you can see 2 is missing because I'm currently reading 2 somewhere. And then I'm a huge Michael Crichton fan, and just this summer went through the Dramamine strain. And then The Worst Witch. Not only do I love the TV series, which all of them, all 3 versions of them, including the new one, but this book series is my childhood. And then, of course, I have the Harry Potter series. Down here is the Betty Wales series. If you've seen my vlog on recording for LibriVox, you'll know that I'm in the midst of recording all of those for the LibriVox audio app. And I just finished editing Betty Wales Freshman, so I'm really excited to start reading Betty Wales Sophomore. It should be up on the platform fairly soon. If you don't see it, keep checking back because I'm going to be recording the whole series, and they're so wonderful. Then down on this one, it looks like I have like a little bit of autobiographies, Greta Thunberg's Born a Crime, then some of my dystopian type fiction. I don't know, it's kind of getting just whatever fits. And then I have more graphic novels, including the Babysitter's Club, because the new Babysitter's Club graphic novels are amazing. And I was actually super obsessed with my Babysitter's Little Sister books more than Babysitter's Club. I read those too, but you'll see my obsession with Babysitter's Little Sister. And then I have the series of Unfortunate Events. This bottom shelf is a mess. This is kind of where I stack a whole bunch of leftover stuff. Some textbooks. Same thing, this bottom shelf over here. Cookbooks, my many escapades into language, a poem for every day of the year. I actually assigned that, a poem for every day of the year and a poem for every evening of the year, to my 7th and 8th grade classes respectively. Super great if you're a teacher. That's a great way to get in daily poetry. And then my graphic novel collection right here. Some gifts. This used to be the doorstop in my grandma's house, so I love that for sentimental reasons. Now I'm at my second bookshelf, which this is more of like right when you walk into my door. It's the drawers I use for my shoes, and it's like a drop zone. But this shelf I have dedicated to being the TBR shelf, and I need a bigger shelf for my TBR. Actually, a lot of these novels, since I am an English teacher, I have to pick up like a lot of books to try and read and see if they'd be good for my students or my classroom library. And there's some shelves on here that are very much geared towards that. Here's a cute little figurine that used to sit on my grandma's vanity. Just random books that I'm actually, a lot of these I'm in the middle of reading. I'm a big, or that I have. Here's my Kindle shelved. I read my Kindle quite a lot, but I find that I mostly read on it when I travel. So then I have Plainsong. Here's the continuation of the Poppy series. So I bought both. I have started reading this one a little bit, but haven't gotten that. And then my degree, which is like a little good reminder on my way out the door that I worked hard to get where I am. And then a lot of these ones are books that I'm previewing for my classes. This little ceramic hand I had on my shelf at school, and then a kid knocked into it and it literally fell on him. We said it high-fived him in the head and it broke. Detour stop at my TV stand. This is where I keep the books that I want to read next or that I'm in the midst of reading. So currently, again, I'm reading like multiple books at a time. Currently reading Clive Cussler's I really enjoy for like a really quick one. I'm about halfway through Cuckoo Clock Land. I haven't begun Babel yet. That's been sitting here for a really long time. And then I just purchased Yellowface as well. So looking forward to reading those. And the next bookshelf is the one that's by my reading nook where I started off this video. Here I have a section of Harvard's classics. I was gifted these actually to be used as a prop for a show, and we still might use them as the prop, but I've been very inspired by some people who have made that their goal to read them. I like to think that I will read these all. We'll see. And then on the bottom shelf here is more like hard books, hardbacks. Ooh, the Jenny and Her Junior, some of like my favorite like old-fashioned ones. Margaret Atwood. Ooh, Leave the World Behind. Let's talk about this book for a minute. Did you read this book? This book was really great. I did not think the movie was very good at all. I just didn't think it translated. It's such like an intellectual novel about exploring people's fears that I just didn't. I was like so excited to watch. I was like, Mom, we gotta watch this. And when I was over at her house, and lackluster. And then I have, the Clarissa book. It's January, so I'm trying again to read this in a year. If you were part of that TikTok trend where you were going to read it along with it, hi Sal. This is The Tomb, but I'm excited to read it. In fact, that reminds me I need to put it aside so that I actually read it this year. And then Pride and Prejudice. This one's kind of funny. If you watch Gilmore Girls, you know how she borrows Swan's Way. I've never read it, and I solely bought this because I was like, I want to read that, be able to say I read that when I watched that scene. Still haven't read it. Here we are in the corner of my office. I have put together these bookshelves, and this is sort of my tribute to amazing, the best ever youth fiction and coffee table books that I have. So this very first shelf, well, you're going to see throughout, I used Canva to make kind of like painting looking versions of my pets. And now that I have Claudia, I need to make one of her as well. So up here at the top, we have Mimsy, the best kitty cat ever. She was my cat for probably 15 or 16 years and passed away last year. And then this quilt right here, my mom made me, and made in general. I kind of just ended up with it. And it has photos of my grandparents. So you can see a little bit of that. Just a lovely special thing. Here's my dog Judy growling. A selection of really nice coffee table books. I might do like a whole video on really awesome books like that. Greta. Here's Salvador Doggy. And then these are choreography books. This was the first book I was ever, my first publication that I ever had as a writer in the Stone Soup Book of Friendships. You can find a story by me from when I was 10. So this is very special to me, as publication is a big part of my life. Here is the best books ever, my Lynn Reed's collection, Gilly Hopkins. I was obsessed with ghost stories as a child. The Bronte sisters, actually I think I should pull that out and put that on this reading list that I'm going to have. I just pulled this off the shelf because it's a good reminder to go put it on the new collection for my fellowship reading. I believe I've read all of this, but I would be good to read it again before I go. And then also on this shelf are 2 books from my friends, three people, personal people that I know that have published novels, and I'm so admirative and proud of them. Then on the next shelf down, we have the Mary Downing Hahn and Betty Wright. Obsessed. If you're not a Mary Downing Hahn fan, you got to get on board. Then here's some of my nicer books, children's books, lots of different ones. My kitty Frida, more awesome, amazing children's books. And then the ultimate down here, my Babysitter's Little Sister book collection. There are over 100 of these, and I've got a big old list of books that I need to fill the gaps. This is my quest in life, is to own all of these. As silly as that might seem, these meant a lot to me as a child, and I'm missing probably like 30 of them, I think. Maybe a little less, actually. I think it's down to 20. This is my hobby when I go to used bookstores, is to find Babysitter's Little Sister books. Here is Claudia having to be part of every single moment. Grabbing this book off the shelf is actually a really great way to transition into my final spot that I've started developing for holding books, and that is here on the piano. I am starting my collection of all the novels that will pertain to my fellowship that I've read. So far, if If you're not sure what I'm talking about, I am an educator and I was awarded a fellowship to go to Great Britain and do like a UK literary tour in order to enhance my learning and my students' learning. And I'm going to be filming some videos of my travels there in end of July, August. And in preparation for that, I'm trying to read. I've made myself like a long list of books to read so that I can just be more learned when I'm there. I am going to Haworth, which is why I pulled out the Bronte sisters. And Claudia's back. And then so far I'm working on Persuasion right now, and enjoying it. I'm actually going back and forth between the audio version of this on LibriVox. I just finished last week. Oops, they all fell. I just finished the Glasstown game. Couldn't recommend. I'll have to talk about this later. I actually did not enjoy this. And then my next one on my list I'm going to read is These Violent Delights. So what I've been doing is storing them all here, and hopefully by the end of my little literary journey I'll have a nice collection of books that apply for my fellowship. Hi, Claudie. Anybody else have a clingy cat? That was fun. So those are all the books that I have. Again, I think it's such like a bizarre thing, about having a bookshelf, because it is definitely a reflection of who you are and like the kind of things you like to read. But I also feel like it's not, because after looking through those books, there are hundreds of books that I know that I've read that I absolutely love and would love to own a copy of, but just currently don't. And maybe that's a good thing, because we only have so much space in a house, right? And I love being surrounded by the books that I have. They're very prominent in my decorating. I always say that's the easiest way to decorate a house, just throw a book on it. Remember those Portlandia show where they'd be like, put a bird on it? I'm like, put a book on it. And then ta-da, it's decorated. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little tour of my bookshelf with the many appearances by Claudia the kitty. She's named Claudia Kincaid after the Mixed Up Files of Miss Basil E. Frankware. And so obviously she knows that the shelves are where she's supposed to be. Thank you so much for joining me. Please comment if you saw any books that you thought, oh wow, I definitely have enjoyed that, or I have that too. I'd love to have a conversation with you. And please like and subscribe this video. I would love to have more followers so I can share more bookish things and share with you about my upcoming fellowship book journey. Bye!